So we've been working on this episode for a little while, kind of doing a 35mm roundup for what's available for Sony, but it really came down to just a couple lenses and they just became the front runner. We also had plans to go outside and explore downtown, shoot some street, because 35mm really lends itself to that kind of photography. But Calgary has other plans when it comes to spring. So as many of you who've been paying attention to our videos probably know already, 35mm is my favorite focal length. I mean, it's what resonates with me. It's that focal length that really captures life how I see it. And some of my favorite photos come from shooting with a 35mm. Now that perspective is fantastic, but a fast 35mm 1.4, that's even better because it allows me to use depth of field to draw attention to the subject matter I want in a very subtle way. Now with a fast 35mm 1.4 lens, you do get shallow depth of field, but it's much more subtle than you're going to get with like an 85 1.4 for instance. But it's brilliant in its ability to capture life and really showcase what you want people to see in your photos and what's going to be in focus. So I love a 35mm for environmental portraits and people in their workplace, showcasing where they are and what they're doing. This is brilliant for that. So for me, it's my favorite focal length. It's my desert island prime lens if I could choose one. But there are so many 35mm on the market because it is such a popular thing. So we were originally going to do a much bigger roundup with so many different lenses, but it really came down in our discussions to two lenses. Now we've been spoiled for a while now. We've had the Sony 35mm 1.4 G Master lens in our kit, and it's usually with me all the time. I love carrying it around everywhere I go. It's my go-to lens, and we often film with it as well. We get some amazing sort of look to it. But recently, Sigma came out with the 35mm 1.4 version 2, which is giving the Sony a run for its money. So this is my problem. We have two amazing 35mm lenses for Sony. How do we choose? So I was able to spend some quality time with the Sigma 35 1.4 version 2, and I really enjoyed it. In fact, when the rep needed it back, I kind of had to fight him for it because I didn't want to give it up. And that's a really good sign. I mean, when you're a camera reviewer or doing lens reviews, if you have a piece of gear that you don't want to give back, that's a really good sign that they're doing something right. But this is my dilemma with these two lenses. How do I decide between the Sony 35 1.4 G Master lens and how do I go between the Sigma 35 1.4 version 2? Let's talk about some of the differences and some of the similarities. Now, unfortunately, I don't have both lenses with me to show you side by side, but we got some footage of it, and you can see both the lenses are very similar in their size. I mean, there's 1 gram difference between the two, with the Sony being 524 grams and the Sigma being 525 grams. I mean, they're essentially very similar. Both sport 67mm filters, both are weather sealed, both have clickable and declickable apertures. There are a lot of similarities to it. And that's kind of a good thing. I mean, Sony really nailed it. And that's the thing with their G Master lenses. They're sort of built without compromise. And Sigma's following suit with this 35mm 1.4 version 2. It's a fantastically built lens. I have no qualms about it whatsoever. So what it really kind of comes down to for me, if both lenses are almost exactly the same size and shape, is the performance of the lens. And so I thought there'd be some big difference between autofocus, but both lenses focus extremely fast. In fact, when we were doing our side-by-side comparisons of the autofocus tests, we really didn't see enough of a difference. We can't even really show you guys what the difference is going to be. Both snap to focus very quickly. I have no qualms with either one when it comes to the autofocus performance. So that lends us more to the image quality. I mean, ultimately, this is what we are looking for when it comes to reviewing lenses. What is the ultimate end result of these lenses? And I'm not disappointed whatsoever. I mean, I've been thrilled with what Sony's been delivering with us with the 35 1.4. And Sigma is right up there. When I take a look at our shots here, I compare them side by side on my computer here. It's interesting to see my very boring wall test here. And you can see as I compare these two shots side by side, punch in, both are really nice and sharp. And it's tough to really sort of see the difference there. We pop up into the corners here and it's arguable which one's better. I mean, I think the Sony has a slight edge, but Sigma's doing an extremely good job. Now there's a touch of vignetting on both of them, not that bad at all. But ultimately, as I'm comparing shot after shot after shot, and especially the stuff I'm shooting on my own, neither one of them are letting me down in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the bokeh, that look, both of them have 11 aperture blades. They are so similar with these lenses that I'm getting a very similar look on both of them. And even when it comes down to ghosting and flaring, Sigma's added some extra coatings. They're doing an extremely good job with this, and I'm getting great looks. I mean, I like the starburst I'm getting out of both of these lenses. I like everything I'm getting out of these lenses. So it's making it a very difficult decision for me to make. So we take a look at a bunch of these images here I've shot over time with the 35G Master and also with the Sigma 35 1.4 version 2. you can see kind of what to expect out of these. I mean, the colors are vibrant, the quality is fantastic, the sharpness is unbelievable. It is brilliant. Both these lenses produce some exceptional results. So what sets you apart? In my testing the autofocus, I really didn't see any difference at all. There's nothing that I felt one was outperforming the other. However, I can't help but think that when it comes to the autofocus, Sony built for Sony is going to outperform the Sigma in certain cases, but it's really tough to find what those are going to be. I certainly did not find any difference in the autofocus performance between the two. But if you're shooting sports in action and you need that faster frames per second, 20 or 30 frames per second, you're going to stick with the Sony. However, you can still shoot 15 frames per second with the Sigma. And a 35mm isn't that sports shooting lens, but there might be a time and a place or a use case that is the difference maker for you. So two other factors that don't necessarily impact the quality of the images, but one is the price. I mean, the Sigma is a $500 less option compared to the Sony. Plus it comes with a 7-year warranty. So maybe that's the feature that's going to push you over the edge to go with Sigma. So we have some really compelling options out there. I mean, like I said at the beginning, we did look at a whole bunch of different lenses out there, a whole bunch of different 35mm. I mean, we did a review recently of the Viltrox 35 1.2 lens, but we kind of put it out of the running because even though I really like what I'm getting out of that, and that 1.2 aperture gives you even a shallower depth of field, that lens is much bigger, much more bulky, and it has to be for that certain aperture. So my go-to takeaway from these lenses is you can't go wrong with either one. I mean, I hate to sort of use it as kind of a cop-out, but I find myself easily using both of these and getting exceptional results out of it. So you have to kind of decide for yourself which is going to be the more pleasing lens for you. The image quality is so similar between these two lenses. When I look through a bunch of different photos here, I am seeing some great results and I love what I'm getting out of it, but also because they're so lightweight and small, I want to carry these ones around, where those larger 1.2 aperture lenses, maybe I won't want to carry those if I'm doing a backpack trip, for instance, where size and weight sort of everything. For me, both are exceptional options. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. So I need your help. You tell me. I want to know what your thoughts are on these two lenses. Is there one particular reason you're going to choose one lens over the other? Is it the price? Is it the warranty? Is there some subtleties in the image quality that's going to set you apart? Or is it the autofocus that's going to make or break your decision between these two lenses? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll catch you again soon.